KY3's Emily Wood introduces us to a visionary, James River pastor Debbie Lindell.
But if we don't have love, we miss the whole thing.
It may be cold and rainy, but some 10 to 15,000 people will make their way to James River Church on this Sunday.
You must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had.
One of the largest churches in the nation, approximately 1 in every 30 people in the Springfield area consider John and Debbie Lindell to be their pastors.
Wait till you hear the message. It's amazing.
She wrote it.
Did you grow up thinking, I'm going to be a pastor someday?
I knew I always wanted to use my life to build the church and build the kingdom of God, but I didn't know how that would look.
Certainly, Debbie Lindell says not anything like this. The sprawling multi-million-dollar campus, complete with its own gourmet coffee shop, is nothing like the church this daughter of a minister knew growing up. And it's nothing like the first church she and her husband started in Kansas City, when they knocked on 700 doors and made some 13,000 phone calls inviting people to join.
The first year and a half, we averaged 8 people. So, you know, that's pretty tough to have a church with just 8 people.
Were you questioning whether or not you should be in the ministry at that point?
Yes. We went through a season just because the 2.5 years in Kansas City were so tough.
By the 3rd year, that church finally started to grow, but the Lindells had decided to resign. That's when they got the call to come to a new church in Springfield.
You could see that the hand of God was on this group of people, and they were growing. I mean, they'd started just 9 months before with 40 people, and now there were 80, and that was like, oh my goodness, they're really growing.
But the Lindells almost turned it down.
Part of it was we just didn't feel like we had anything to offer them because we were so tired. And we didn't feel like we felt like we'd failed.
They came, and within the first year, they would see James River grow from 80 people to more than 700.
It was like being on a fast-moving train. I mean, you didn't really have time to think about it.
We are a sisterhood united.
As the church grew, so did Lindell's role alongside her husband, John, launching a women's conference that has grown to more than 8,000 women each year with speakers from around the globe.
How do you describe yourself in one word?
I think I'm a visionary. I love to look into the future and believe God for big things.
Lindell now has the same title as her husband, lead pastor.
I am leading alongside and under John's authority.
It's not exactly commonplace for churches to be led, or in this case, co-led by female pastors, but the trend is growing. In the Assemblies of God denomination alone, a full 16% of all ministers are women, and a full 3% of all churches are led by female pastors like Debbie Lindell.
She is the co-leader, and they come together as one. And together they make a phenomenal team.
Amen. Together more than 30 years now, the Lindell's children are grown and they have children of their own. They all work in the family ministry business as well, making for lots of time together.
I think part of why it works is John and I are truly the best of friends. He wants to hear my opinions. He wants to know, what do you think on this? And that's the fun about leading together.
What would you say is your secret to success?
I think relying on the Lord, prayer. There's not a morning that I don't get up and say, God, if I don't have your help today, I won't be able to do it. I need your help. It's a big job.
A big job that comes with a lot of notoriety, meaning life experiences that many of us consider personal become very public.
She had a biopsy, had an MRI, and the result is she's got breast cancer.
Including a battle with breast cancer last year.
We knew I was going to have surgery the next week, but we didn't know what the journey was going to look like.
Lindell experienced many unexpected complications, but she survived. Now back at James River each Sunday, Wednesday, and most days in between, shepherding thousands.
If you weren't in the ministry, what would you be doing?
I would be doing something that made a difference in people's lives. I don't think there's no way I could sit home and not do anything. I want people to know Jesus.
And of course, since it is a multi-million-dollar nonprofit, there are always questions about how James River Church uses its money. You may even have heard that you have to pay to belong. Well, short answer, Lindell says that's simply not true. But we asked her about it, as well as a lot of other questions that a lot of people have about an organization that they may be a part of or they're just not familiar with at all.